So the first thing we're going to do is install the RSS transmitter on the DIN rail on the inside of the kit. But before we put it in there, I'm going to look at the bottom, and you can see that they're labeled RSS Core 1 and RSS Core 2. And we see two terminals on the bottom with black and white terminals. And so those two terminals on the bottom match the pins on the core, as we can see here. So black to black, white to white, just like that for both sides. And so here we see the core pins going to the correct terminals on the bottom of the transmitter. There may be transmitters out there where the core number 2 terminals, where the black and white may be reversed. That's okay, just make sure that the pins of the core go in the same colors here on the bottom of the transmitter. All right, so to put the transmitter onto the DIN rail in the back, all you have to do is snap it on the rail. There's a little curved piece right here that's just going to let it fall down onto the DIN rail. Now if you need to take this off for some reason, you can see the little green tab hangs below, and all you would do is just pull that down, and you can see that it lowers, and you'll just pull it off the DIN rail. But let's go ahead and put this on. So we will start from the top and just kind of hang it over the top edge. Sometimes you're able to just push this on the bottom and it'll snap in. Sometimes not. But if you just take the little screwdriver, put it on the bottom where that tab is, pull it down, it goes right on. So now it's time for the grounding lug. This will go on the left side of the power supply. And just like the other two, it has little teeth here to grab onto the DIN rail. But what this does, it actually bites through the anechoic coating or the paint that's on the DIN rail to make a good bond to the chassis of the DIN rail, which would then be grounded. So let's put this on. All right, so we have all 3 components attached to the DIN rail. We will not attach power yet. We will do some other things first, starting with running the negative conductors of the PV array through the cores. You know, this is a dual core, so there may be a couple reasons you need a dual core transmitter. Maybe the inverter that you're using has more than 10 strings to it. And since we can only put 10 strings in a single core, then you would divide the strings up and run them in each of the cores. Now, you may have an instance where the total home run may be longer than 300 meters, which is the length that one core can accommodate. And so if that home run length exceeds 300 meters, then you can put all of the home runs, if they're less than 10, of that inverter through the core so that the rapid shutdown signal is intensified. And with a 2-core setup going through home runs, you can go out to 500 meters. Now it's important to know that the white side of the array and the black side of the array have to be orientated properly. So the black side of the core, both cores, must be facing toward the PV array. And you would simply just take the home runs from the inverter, pass them through the core like that, or the cores, and off you go. The next thing we're going to do is run the DC wiring from the DC side of this power supply into the 2 power terminals on the RSS transmitter. Now, if this is easier to install the wiring by taking the components off the DIN rail, then by all means do that. But you just need to make sure that you put the positive to the positive terminal and the negative to the negative terminal, and they're clearly labeled here on the power supply. And then on the top, you can see the power sticker for the positive and negative 12 volts DC that will come from the power supply. right, so the last thing we will do is bring in a line and neutral 120 volts into this power supply into the bottom. Again, they're labeled. Line or hot will go on the right and the neutral will go on the left. And this will go out toward a panel to a 15 amp breaker. So let's do that. All right, so that's it for the wiring of this transmitter kit. Again, if you're using the pure signal transmitter and you have another one, up to 10 of these, then the next thing you would do is connect the signal wire out from one into the next one, but that's covered in a separate video. But that's it.